following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here we go.
Having problems already.
It's Eagles week, and Mickey false started. Mickey has false started to start the big week, the biggest week of the season, and Mickey is reaching for his controls under the board here. You ready to start now, Mickey?
No, it's too loud.
Oh, now it's too loud. Okay, we're inside the SWBC podcast studio, and this is Mick Shots.
It is?
And yes, we completed last night, with the Jacksonville-Cincinnati Monday night game, and so now it is officially Eagles week here.
You all right there?
You got it?
You got it, Mickey?
Let's try it now.
Okay, you want me to start over?
I heard it all.
I bet you did.
So here we are. It's Cowboys-Eagles week, and we didn't want that Shaq Leonard guy anyway, did we?
No, we don't want him.
No.
I knew
As
yesterday.
we've been saying the last several days.
I knew yesterday it was not going to work. When he was like he moved on. Usually when you leave the building,
that's right. Yeah,
you ain't coming back.
Yeah, that's right.
He did not come.
You know that from personal experience.
I know that from personal experience.
You went to Seattle.
That's right.
And wound up in New York.
But I knew I wasn't going to go to Seattle. I just like my ego stroke. I never had a recruiting trip.
Shaq Leonard might have been the same way.
Yeah, but he got his flowers when he was a kid. I didn't get mine until I was 30.
Oh, that's right.
I was 30 years old.
When I was told, I asked, and I got the answer. My gut feeling is he's signing with the Eagles.
I said that yesterday.
And it was like that's what my gut feeling was. And then when we found out his relationship with Sirianni, and then when I
thought that would really push him our way.
I read in the Philadelphia paper that Sirianni had been texting him and having other people in the organization FaceTime with them, and I was like, okay.
So do you think they sent him on a scouting mission here?
To see what the Cowboys were doing and how they were playing their defense?
They already know.
Yeah.
Well, and Jerry pointed out, or Dan Quinn pointed out, that they gave him an idea of how he would be used here. And they're more desperate for him than the Cowboys. But the thing I need answered, and the Colts will never do it, why do you let the guy go that you got to incur $26 million of dead money?
And they're still in the hunt. It's not like the season's over.
Yeah,
Right.
It's not like it's a detrimental loss on
especially with what happened last night with the Jacksonville quarterback.
That's right.
I mean,
for Indianapolis in their division.
Because are the Colts 500?
They're over 500 now.
Over 500 now?
I thought they were 6-6. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
But I mean, they came from behind to win the other day.
They are still in the hunt. They are still in the hunt.
And
they're 7-5 now.
7-5.
Yeah,
Wow.
because of that last second touchdown pass to beat Tennessee.
So do we anticipate Shaq Leonard playing this upcoming Sunday?
I think so.
I think so too.
I hope so.
I mean, he's been playing all season. He's had 2 weeks off now.
Fresh legs.
Fresh legs.
I'd like to catch him with the 2 weeks of rust.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's do it now. Let's
That's
catch
the
him
way
now.
to look at it. And they need him on Philadelphia. I mean, it's not so much. I mean, you saw what happened the other day against San Francisco. And what's going on at their linebacker position.
I think they sweetened the pot some kind of way. It probably wasn't money, but
And Jerry pointed out it didn't. He said the money part today. I mean, this is what he said. The money part never came into the discussion. So I think he probably felt more comfortable playing for a coach he had worked with for 3 years.
I think at this point in the season, with every team is pretty close to the cap, if they're not there anyway, and
and they're real close.
You only have a month left in the season. That's nickel and dime stuff, compared to a full year salary anyway. So what he's in it for. Okay, that those lucrative payoffs that we talked about last week or so about the postseason winnings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like
And a ring.
Extra, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what he's chasing, and he should.
Well, after next week, he'll be like, damn it, I went to the wrong team.
Listen to Everson Walls.
Very confident Everson Walls as we kick off Eagles week here. So, Everson, you said you watched the game last night.
I did.
Those quarterbacks, and this is a game of survival. This is the best reality TV show in the world.
And
the NFL is
even more.
And what we have is survival here.
You know, I couldn't initially when he stepped on the guy's foot. I thought, okay, it's okay. But then when he
bent back, and
yes,
and then
I still,
I
that
didn't know
was
whether
weird
it's
on how that.
Okay, was it the
And
ankle?
then when he
Was
went
it the
down
knee?
and
Yes.
took his helmet off and slammed it into the ground.
Oh man!
And you think they got golf carts over there? He had to walk all that way,
All the way up the
two
ramp.
guys, and
That's awful.
Well, I was thinking that maybe he was like, "Hey, I got to see if I can put some
Maybe
pressure on
seeing
it or
if it's a
something."
cramp.
but when you're
But
in the
I mean,
tunnel,
you're already
right?
in the tunnel.
Yes.
You can't put anything on it now. It's too late.
Give the man a ride.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I'm up here diagnosing. Okay, look how he walks. It must be the right ankle, and because he's surely in pain.
Yeah.
And they're dragging him like we're back in World War II or something.
And and you know me right away. It's like, oh, he tore his Achilles. You know,
Right, everything's the Achilles.
Every injury.
everything's an
injury.
Achilles to me,
Achilles.
right? But when you saw it, I said, oh, something broke in there.
Yeah, the way, you just knew it. You just knew it. If he got up from that,
God, and I just
depending on how things happen, he
Right.
could have gotten up.
And the latest,
Yes.
he passed all MRIs and only has a high ankle sprain. And Doug Peterson wouldn't put a timetable on Trevor's return, but also didn't rule him out for next week.
That's good stuff.
Well, I'd say that
that's
too.
Good stuff. I think I could see that being.
If it's a
legitimate.
high ankle sprain, you're talking 4 weeks probably.
Right. But I just didn't want him to have surgery.
Yeah, but it looked bad. And I mean, he's playing so well. That was the thing. I had forgotten they had won that 8 games in a row.
Oh no,
No,
in a row.
it was 7,
In a
right?
row.
I think.
There's been so many quarterback injuries this year.
Well, they put the whole list up there.
like 8 or 10 or something.
And those are the ones that are out. There's others that you might be out for a week or so. And it's
Right, those are the ones just out for the season.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But how about Jake Browning?
I was going to say, how about the backup quarterbacks that came in? I mean, even C.J. Beathard for
Yeah.
his part,
He did decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Jake-
backups
I
can
can't-
come in.
As long as Jake Browning's been in the league and he hadn't won a game.
That was crazy.
It's about opportunity.
It's about teamwork, teammates. That's what it is. Obviously, he didn't have a
Exactly.
good
That's
team.
what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Zach Wilson doesn't even want to go back in the game now with the teammates he has in the Jets.
They did him a favor.
Now they're back to him again, I think.
He's just another Purdy right now, talking about Browning. He's another Purdy, a guy that has the potential. He's got the talent for it. Just surround me with good people.
Speaking of Brock Purdy, yesterday, it was 1 year ago yesterday that he became the starting quarterback for the 49ers. He had the day before, he had come off the bench and led them to a victory after Garoppolo went down. And so it was a year ago yesterday. If the College Football Playoff Committee was in charge of the NFL postseason, the 49ers would not have made the playoffs because they had a backup quarterback coming in, right?
Oh,
True.
man.
You knew
Don't
that
do
was going to
that.
happen, didn't you? I mean, was anybody surprised?
I was hoping they'd do the right thing.
Yeah, they did not do
But
the
it
right
wasn't.
thing.
The right thing wasn't going to be the most exciting thing.
They got to the 4th point, and
Well,
it said
when
the
they put
best
Texas at number
teams,
3.
when the best teams.
Yeah.
And when you saw that game,
Yeah.
you're going, okay, they're not one of the best teams. They won. They figured a way to win.
When you saw Alabama play Auburn, did you think they're one of the best teams?
They figured out how to win.
And
No,
Florida State figured out how to win.
Auburn figured out how to lose. That's what happened.
But
with Alabama.
what
This
was
is
the,
not-
what was the score of the Alabama-Auburn game?
It's a 3-point game.
What was the score? Like 30-27 or something?
So you can't have a good defense and play for a national championship?
Not on national TV.
Yeah.
Alabama 27, Auburn 24.
Here's the whole problem with that, and we'll get back to Cowboys talk.
Yeah, but
the whole
this is good
problem.
stuff, though.
I hope you're going to say what I'm going to say, but go ahead.
The SEC is overrated this year. This is not the same SEC we've seen for the last year and a half. Go look at Georgia this year. And a week ago, Georgia played Georgia Tech and won by 8 points. Georgia Tech is a 6-6 team. It's not the same conference. It's all on reputation. They said, Alabama knocked off the 29th, a team that had won 29 straight games. No, they had won 11 straight games or whatever, 12 straight games, whatever it was this year. And you go back and look at some of those games that they won, they weren't blowing out teams like they had in the past.
I
you look at Florida State. I went online yesterday in a reputable draft preview site, okay, which is Pro Football Network, and they had listed, this was prior to they looked at their draft rankings of draft eligible players, and Florida State has as many guys on their list as any team in the country that have a chance of getting drafted this year. They've got 12. Michigan, I think, has 12. Georgia has 11. Alabama's got 8. Texas has 9 or 10. And so Florida State, it's not like we're comparing Alabama with a Liberty team that went 13-0 or a Tulane team that beat USC. And this is a legitimate. ACC, yeah. This is a 13-0 conference champion team that has NFL talent. In fact, 2 of the players on their roster are going to be top 15 picks in this draft, including the edge rusher Jared Verse.
Yeah. So you're not feeling sorry for SMU.
And SMU also got shafted.
But they picked the team with the best record.
Yeah. And in that case, they picked the team that didn't have the quarterback that got hurt, and SMU lost their quarterback.
So to me, and this is what everybody missed, is this is for all the people out there that were against a real playoff system. Because had this been a 12-team playoff system, we're not even talking about this because everybody's in.
It needs to change.
Right? It needed to change 15 years ago.
It needed to change 50 years ago, Mickey. This has been going on for decades.
Think about. And
by the way, they don't have it.
But this one is more. I guess when you talk about a team that's 13-0, I don't recall that ever happening.
It hasn't happened.
Yeah. 13-0. So
in a major conference.
But how about
from a major conference?
Yeah.
From a major conference.
How about back in the day when the champion was decided by AP voting?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's the kicker.
And
on
all
this.
I can see is underneath the results is the division. What are they? FCS. Here's the list of all the playoff games.
Right.
And they've been doing that for years.
Yeah, they figured
So
out a
for
way to do
everybody that was against the playoff system because they didn't want to hurt the Bulls, this is for you. It's your fault.
And here's another note. I would love to know if the committee even realized this. Tate Rodemaker, the backup quarterback at Florida State, who's going to be back for their bowl game.
He had a concussion.
Okay. He came off the bench last year when Jordan Travis got hurt against Louisville in the first half of the game, and they were trailing, and he brought them back with he engineered 3 scoring drives through 2 touchdown passes in a come-from-behind 35-31 win over Louisville last year. And no one even talks about that.
So
he's done it
you're
before.
That he's that quarterback that can take them to the national championship.
And they scored 35 points.
Right.
All right, when you're a coach, okay, you're trying to figure out what is the best way to win this football game. And now you've got the 3rd-string quarterback, and the weeks before you had the 2nd-string quarterback. You just want to make sure I've got a great defense, one of the best defenses in the country. The only thing that I want to make sure of is that this quarterback, who hasn't been taking snaps in practice all year, is not going to make a critical mistake that gives the team, the opponent, an easy touchdown or field position or whatever. And so I'm going to play it conservatively. I'm not trying to score 59 points in this game.
Smart coaching.
Yeah, exactly.
So who did you not want in, Texas or Alabama?
Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Texas beat Alabama.
You watch this quarterback from
Yes.
He's gonna make you eat your words.
But I mean, it's all about.
I know in regards to.
Here's the other part of it is. Here's the
now
other.
that he's in there.
Yeah.
He's going to play well.
I mean, Alabama might win it all.
They might.
Yeah, they might.
No, Texas might.
Yeah, and Texas has a great chance to win it all. Yeah. Where's that quarterback from?
He ain't from Missouri. I know that.
What's
much.
that?
That Texas quarterback. It's Carroll Dragon.
I didn't. He is? I didn't know that.
All right. Just getting started. We're back to Cowboys talk.
We'll get back.
Get off the soapbox here when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right.
You know,
Mickey.
you brought up Brock Purdy.
Yes.
So the NFL stats.
Yep.
The top three quarterbacks in completion percentage right now. Brock Purdy, 70.2. Tua, 70.1. And Dak Prescott, 70.1. The only three quarterbacks in the league now completing 70% of their passes, which is rather remarkable.
It is.
Purdy is ranked number one in quarterback rating, 116.1, and Dak is next at 108.3.
I remember when it was about 20 years ago, 60% completion rate was considered.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And if you got to 65, my.
Yeah. That's right. That shows how the game has changed.
Now it's 70%.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Dak is leading. He's number one in, double check this, number two in touchdown percentage, but number one in touchdowns with 26. And this is the guy everybody wanted to run off because he threw too many interceptions.
Nobody's talking about interceptions with any quarterback these days.
Right?
Josh
It's
Allen.
so funny. Yeah, but they won't mention it.
Besides Josh
No
Allen.
one's,
Yeah.
we are. But no one's saying, interceptions. It's not a big deal for anyone this year. Yeah, only because the Cowboys weren't throwing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. But I must admit, I'm still a little concerned because as we take this stretch, it's going to be tough, guys. I mean, this stretch it's the toughest part of our schedule, right? It's got to be the toughest part of our schedule right now. Winning teams and also meaningful games going down the stretch. So one thing that we have to do.
Well, other than Philadelphia, who scares you?
Oh, Miami and Buffalo. Only because of we have to go there and play.
Okay.
We're talking about different situations. We're talking about potential snow. We're talking about a freaking sauna on the football field.
Right.
Okay? This is what I'm talking about. Those games can test you in many ways. We're worried about CeeDee Lamb in Cowboy Stadium and at AT&T Stadium getting a little fatigued because he was targeted 17 times. Well, you wait till you see him out there in Miami. I want to see how pretty those braids look when the game is over.
Will they be soaking wet?
Yeah, man. Come on.
Get a roof.
Right.
Get a roof.
No, they like the weather. They want
Every
to tan
stadium
while they
needs
watch
one.
the game. That's what Miami fans do. But now the
no one
fans are
likes the
really
weather.
into this Dolphins team.
All right, but if you were playing on a neutral surface or weather, who scares you?
Miami still scares me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Buffalo doesn't.
No.
And watching Detroit almost lose
If Buffalo
to
comes
the
here,
Saints.
I'm not worried about Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Detroit almost lose to the Saints.
Yeah.
That don't have a quarterback. Oh,
I
no,
worry,
he got hurt.
I worry about these emotional games. The Detroit game is going to be an emotional game, not necessarily for us, but for the head coach for Detroit. He's coming back home. So
Right.
you know, doggone well, he's already an emotional
But
guy.
we're going to have.
We got Jimmy.
We got Jimmy here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we got Jimmy back.
We got to wait till halftime. You know.
He's going to be on the field
Right.
clapping.
I can see him on the field. Jerry's like, what the hell is he doing down there?
He'll be the Cowboys' Dom.
But now, what we have to look at, though, really, no, let's
Dom.
not get there anymore.
Dom.
Chris is a little upset
Dom.
about that, by the way. Chris was mad at Dom.
Chris.
We talked too much about him.
No, the guy was wrong. Chris said he was wrong.
Well, he shouldn't have been there.
He shouldn't have been there.
Producer Supreme, Chris?
Yeah.
That's right. He checked me. He said, man, these guys not supposed to be down there. So that's why they fined him and kicked him off the sideline.
As I told, well, you were listening yesterday when I saw Cable. I said, hey,
Oh, yeah, so I was about to bring that up.
I said, Cable, come on. I want to get, you got to get a standing ovation.
Can we get a ring set up in the middle of the field and have Cable go up against Big Dom?
Oh, yeah. Please, that would be
Well,
great.
as I said yesterday, he interceded last year at the San Francisco playoff game when those guys were screwing around with Brett Maher warming up, standing in the way. And it's the same guys
That's
every
the same
time.
thing. That's the same thing.
It's
They do it all
Deebo
the time.
Samuel, Trent Williams, and I think it was Ayuk was the other guy.
You think Big Dom can catch a punt on the sideline? I don't think so.
That's right. So anyway, but I wanted to point out, we talk about what Dak's been doing here, and just look at the stats here, where his numbers are compared to everybody else.
I feel like the 49ers gave the Cowboys the tape, though, this week on how to beat the Eagles. And I don't know if the Eagles have enough time to reset for this Sunday because the game was so one-sided. You have a lot to look at if you're the Eagles after.
So what can the Cowboys learn from the Niners as they approach this Eagles game? And what similarities do the Cowboys have to the Niners that they could
putting
use
pressure on Jalen Hurts and keeping him in the pocket? He only ran 7 times. So there was not a lot of called runs, and they made sure that their ends were on the outside, keeping him there. Now, he threw for almost 300 yards, but they only scored 19 points. I thought, number one, and that's something the Cowboys didn't do a very good job of against Seattle, was putting pressure on Geno Smith. He had too much time to throw the ball, did not get sacked once, not once. And when you play Philadelphia, you better get after Jalen Hurts.
And also having the Eagles defense on their toes. You want to switch off between running and passing. You don't want to just have it be all passing. We got to establish the run game.
That's a good point.
We talked about that yesterday.
I was going to say, I've been fussing about the running game. But then as you saw how they used Christian McCaffrey with the Niners, we could do the same thing with Tony.
That's right.
In regards to we don't have to run him all the time to be effective, just get him out in space. And that's when
similarities
those total yards from scrimmage can make a difference. He may not get it running the ball, but we really need him to run that ball better. But having him do several things, be that Swiss Army knife.
And there are definite similarities between CeeDee Lamb and Deebo Samuel, too.
No doubt about it. They use them the same way.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And
there are similarities between Jake Ferguson and George Kittle.
No doubt about that. Any team that's good,
Jake
they have
who?
certain things.
Remember at the beginning of the season?
In certain places.
How could you let Dalton Schultz go to Houston? Well, okay.
Hey, Dalton's happy. He's doing well.
He
Everybody's happy.
He sort of got his money.
Happy.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
On a one-year deal. But yeah, and I think that was one of the key things that San Francisco did. They ran against that Philadelphia defense, which slows them down then going after the quarterback.
Yep.
So, yeah, and if this offensive line plays better, and, McCarthy finally said it on Monday when he was like, well, Dak this and Pollard that, and he goes, yeah, but the offensive line has been together, and they're playing at a higher level.
And they're protecting Dak.
Right.
They are protecting their quarterback. As except this last game.
Yeah,
except 4 sacks against Seattle.
And I was trying to say it earlier, but Spags kept cutting me off. We need to.
They didn't have any sacks the previous two games.
We need to get our penalties together.
Yeah.
We've got to, guys. It is going to be our downfall. When this comes down to it, big games where the margin of error is so slim, penalties will kill you. And we saw that, Philadelphia game. We saw that in the Philadelphia game.
Unless you get the right crew. Then you can jump on the guy's back, grab him around the neck, and it's not interference.
That never happens with us. That we never get those breaks.
Couldn't believe that call just went away. Didn't make it. Non-call.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys have had, I think, 5 games this season with 9 or more penalties taken against them.
Taken?
Yeah.
Because I went back. They had 5 that were dismissed in the game.
See, that's not good. That
5
not
were
good.
dismissed of the 10 that were called.
That is not good. I mean, it's too late in the season for us to be making these same mistakes and getting all these penalties. As a coach, McCarthy's got to feel like, hey, man, I'm not doing a good job here. What are they doing outside? There has to be a remedy for that, to at least be conscious of it.
They need to practice with the blue line on the field, not on the TV.
Talking about lining up.
Talking about lining up. I'm talking about holding, and he's really
no. The holding part is you're getting your ass beat, and you're just grabbing on for dear life.
False starts,
and offsides. Those are the things that you got to clean up, especially when you're playing at home. You're at home.
You're at home. So you're saying that was 14 penalties that we had against us, and 5 they didn't take. Is that what you're saying?
5 were dismissed, or they had 2 on 1 and only 1 counted.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah. That's too much this time of year.
And yet they were able to overcome that.
Because the other team had more.
No, they had 9.
But they had 100. They had more yards penalized.
Yeah.
130 to 127.
Yeah. Well, how many times are we going to get that break? Right. I mean, the good teams, they just don't make that many penalties. Other good teams.
These crews.
You can't blame it all on the crews, Spags.
They need to stay away from that. Yeah, because they called 19 penalties.
But see, you sound like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's team.
I like Pete Carroll.
I know. But
I like the way he sounds.
His team has, he's going to talk about them making all the calls, but yet you still lead the league in penalties. At least they're second. I don't know who's first or second.
Well, that's because that game went totally against the way Pete Carroll coaches his DBs to play defense, right? Where if you're physical with them on every play, they can't throw a flag on every play. And turns out there was a game they threw a flag on every play.
Well, those were PIs. They were PIs. So my thing is, okay, Pete, you're going to say, I'm going to handle this next in the offseason with the referees as if it's the system. It's not the system. It's your team. It's your coaching.
He's going to tell them, you can't call a penalty on every play.
Right.
We're going to do the same thing on every play, but you can't call it every time.
But you're having infractions every play. So come on, man.
That's right.
It is what it is. You can't fuss about something when you're the culprit.
So I've only seen and I just did this real quickly, no other team had more than 81 penalties.
Okay.
And I'm double checking myself.
Cowboys were up number 1 or 2 in the league.
84. Buffalo had 84.
Oh, we're still the
Green
kings.
Bay had 80.
We still hold the crown.
80.
Yeah.
We still hold.
Green
the crown.
Bay had 86. The Cowboys are second.
How many?
90. First, Seattle
Not
went
good.
91.
Not
right.
great.
That's after this week's games?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the.
So Pete Carroll and McCarthy are going to go in and complain about all the.
You're picking on me.
Do you think the officials go into a game and they look at that stat sheet you just looked at?
I
realize
absolutely
They
do.
go, wait, okay, these 2 teams lead the league in penalties. All right,
We better keep an eye
happy
on all
tonight.
this stuff.
You know what the problem is, and I was thinking about this the other night. You catch a player who's been flagged too many times by
Oh yeah.
Well, he can't. He wants to say something about it, but if he says something, he'll get fined. Correct?
Yeah.
So why are you reporters so afraid to go and talk to the umps? Why are you so afraid to talk to the referees? Why don't you guys go in there and have our backs? Y'all they like mafia or something on you guys? I mean, why are y'all so afraid of the referees, man? They're in there. I have this vision of you guys.
Yeah, how come there's only one pool reporter that can go in and talk
That's
to the
crazy, man.
referee?
That's the rule.
Why?
Well, let's have transparency in
The
this
home
league. Can we have transparency?
team has to supply the pool report.
So what happens if you bring in more than one?
No, you only get one. The league only
That's
lets you
just the
bring
rule.
in one.
People break rules all the time.
No, you can't, because the league goes in
Let's
with
start now.
the league.
See, but the officials
Might
don't
as
want
well.
to talk because they want to keep
And
their
see,
job.
that's what I'm
The
saying,
league-
man.
the
They
league-
got to talk.
The league goes in.
They got to talk.
The league goes in.
So that one reporter, who is that guy? Is it you?
I used to do it here.
Were you afraid?
No, I wasn't afraid, but I understood what it was going to be.
What?
Wasn't going to get a straight answer.
You got to be forceful,
No,
man.
you
gotta
are.
go in there.
But you know what?
You like you are around here.
Yeah, you yell at us all
Here's
the time.
here's what happens.
He yells at us all the
Big
time. He
shots.
goes in
Big
on
shots.
me.
You're in this. Their locker room is like the smallest thing ever. And
Treat them
there's-
like you treat an intern.
There's
The
8.
officials' locker room? Oh, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
8 of them in there.
Yeah.
Right. So you go in.
So 8
the
against
NFL guy goes
That's why
in.
he's scared.
The
It's
NFL
8 against 1 in a small room.
The NFL guy goes in, and the head referee goes
He's
in.
afraid he's going to get beat up in there.
And everybody's got their
They're
recorder,
blowing smoke in his face.
right? And
What
the,
else you got?
And the guy who made the call that is being discussed.
He's in the back.
No, he's standing right there shooting darts out of his eyes at you,
With
right?
his chest bowed out.
And so you ask the question, and you get a BS answer.
So that's why they look so. That's why they lift all the weights all the
You
time.
ask-
They're making all the calls.
You ask another follow-up
They're like-
question, and it's already answered that. So it's
Man.
They have
the
their story straight, ready to go.
That's the most
Savannah,
intimidating
they are
thing you've
being
ever
punked.
seen.
They are punking y'all. Dude.
The worst part about that, the worst part about the Seattle-Dallas game is Clete Blakeman's crew had the lowest thrown flags in the league going into that game. They didn't throw very few flags in the game.
That's why I believe that McCarthy and Pete Carroll should shut the hell up about
No,
this
they
game.
found
Just
out.
remember, it was the end of the month. They're just trying to catch up.
Oh, yeah. They
Is
got
that
a
what you
bonus.
think?
Meet quota.
Got that quote.
Yeah.
No, it was like back in the day. Back
Like
in
it
the
was
day,
a speed trap.
Right. Like, okay, guys, I got extra flags. You good? I got extra flags.
it's like back in the day working at the factory piecemeal. The more you produced, the more you made, right? So maybe they thought, well, if we throw more flags, they'll pay us more.
All right. We continue with more Mick shots in just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Experience the most electrifying event of the holiday season, Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant. Every Friday and Saturday night through December 16th, Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza ignites the star in Frisco with an unforgettable holiday performance showcasing 65 performers, including the world-renowned Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, Santa Claus, and appearances from your favorite Dallas Cowboys football heroes. Visit thestardistrict.com for more info.
Everson's going to be there.
Flawless.
Are you?
Where?
When?
Oh, I thought you said appearances from your favorite Cowboys hero. Everson's going to be there.
I was not.
Right?
I was not invited.
Everson's my favorite Cowboys hero.
I agree. You should be there, Everson.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Did you know the Cowboys can clinch a playoff berth Sunday night?
I tried to figure that out.
I got it for you.
It was way too confusing.
Tell us.
With a win.
Was it really?
Cowboys, here's all that has to happen.
It was a lot.
All that has to happen. Cowboys win, plus a Minnesota loss or tie, plus a Green Bay loss or tie, plus a Seattle loss, plus a Tampa Bay loss or tie, plus a Detroit win or tie, plus a Rams loss or tie, as long as Green Bay and Minnesota both don't tie.
How?
I'm going to have to write that down.
There are two
Just
other
to
options.
track.
I want you to get that in your show on Monday.
What you got to simplify this. There's not going to be a tie. That's what you need to realize.
Okay.
Have we had a tie
we'll take
this year?
that
So
part
Minnesota
out.
Have we
Green
had a
Bay
tie this
have
year?
to lose or tie.
I don't believe there's been a tie.
There has
yet.
not been a tie this year.
I just saw it on Twitter, and I thought I'd speak what I
one of the
see.
things I saw going into that game last night was if Jacksonville wins, they clinch a number one seed. And it's like, no, they'll be the number one seed now, but there's too many
For the moment. For the moment.
Yeah, they left out the moment. There's all these games left to play.
Pretty exciting game, man. They couldn't get it all in.
No, it wasn't on the broadcast. It was like something ahead of time.
They actually did say something about it on the broadcast.
But they did
as
say
well.
they would have the number one seed at that point, but not for the playoffs.
Mickey, anything that you heard from the head coach or the coordinators yesterday that you would like to present to us today?
I thought Dan Quinn was talking about the resiliency of his defense, and he was talking about how Seattle, we didn't do the job we should have done or needed to do early in the game, and they gave up 35 points. But his point was, no matter what happened at the end, we closed the game out. Those last three possessions, and it reminded me of something I wrote down Saturday when they were interviewing Nick Saban, and they were talking about stats and everything. And his point was, you have to figure out how to win a game. And I thought, if you think about the Cowboys game against Seattle, they figured out how to win the game. And Everson has talked about this so much over time, talking about you got to make a play when it's time to make a play. right?
Yeah.
To make the difference in the game. And I thought, I saw a lot of criticism of the Cowboys defense and, they played a good team and, and they struggled, but they figured out how to win the game. And if you think about the Eagles over these last month or so, and all those close calls they had, they were patted on the back because somehow they figured out
the
how to win the game.
Amazing. Yes,
right?
yes.
And so here are the Cowboys finally figured out how to win a game, and they got criticized for it. So to me, what he was talking about, and he said, and I can put Bland in this category, like, okay, he didn't have the first half he wanted to have, but
second half,
he came back. He was resilient. He had an interception. He
only gave up like 4 for 40-something yards.
He almost had a second interception.
Yes.
And the same thing with Jordan Lewis. He had 2 breakups in those last 3 possessions.
Huge.
Right?
That was huge. His last breakup was amazing.
Right.
That's what we've been waiting on for him for a while.
And as we talk about cornerbacks, you're going to give up yards, but you got to make a play at some point.
Yep.
So that sort of stuck out to me from what he had to say.
I like it. Cowboys, when you look at that game against Seattle, which team had fresh legs in the fourth quarter of that game? It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, obviously, right?
You look at the snap counts in that game, and number one, the Cowboys ran 89 offensive plays in the game. But the Seattle defensive lineman, Leonard Williams, had 70 snaps on defense, which is an astronomical amount for a defensive lineman, basically a nose tackle. And Jaron Reed had 67 snaps. You look at the Cowboys defensive lineman, and DeMarcus Lawrence had led with 47 snaps. I mean, you look at and that goes into not just the rotation that Dan Quinn employs on his defense with those front 4 guys,
right?
But also that's that complementary football that they talk about, and Mike McCarthy talks about, and what the Cowboys are doing on offense, controlling the football, and by the fourth quarter of the game, Seattle is wearing down on defense.
That's amazing. I hadn't looked at the Cowboys' offensive snaps. They had 89.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
89.
It's a lot.
Normal is 65, maybe 70,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
89 snaps. Seattle had 69.
There you go.
Amazing. And Bobby Wagner played every snap.
Yep, he did.
89. Jamal Adams, 88. The Woolen guy that they kept picking on, the cornerback.
Tariq Woolen.
87.
By the way, my uncle called my sister during the game and said that one of our relatives married one of his relatives way back in the day. So by marriage, we're
related to
we're
Woolen?
related to the Woolen because he's from Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to UTSA. Yeah, so
Everson, he's nothing like you.
well, hey, he's pretty good.
He is.
6 picks.
No, you see what he
6
ran
picks.
at the combine?
He's fast.
He had like a 4.25.
By marriage, I said.
By marriage.
He's like 6'4".
Oh, he's amazing.
No genes.
And I think he ran a 4.29.
And he had 6 interceptions last year, and several people had 6, so he tied for the lead.
But obviously they went after him,
Yeah.
right? And they had him playing man on Lamb.
These were good DBs they had. Those 2 cornerbacks, 21.
Well, Witherspoon was the
was
first-round
good.
pick.
And
I mean, sixth pick in the
CD
draft.
was killing him.
Yeah.
CD was killing him, and Willen the same thing. We were going at him. So when you can say you figure out a way to win, well, you better have some offense if you're going to figure out a way to win. And your defense just needs to be opportunistic. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be the way we're doing it right now. I just don't like that all the time going to the playoffs.
Right.
Our offense is doing well, but in the playoffs, things happen, okay? Defense has to step up, and it has to be in front. You know, it's got to be the one that's carrying the flag. It can't be the one that says, okay, we're going to play off for you. That's going to be tough to do once we get in the playoffs.
So if you consider this game on Sunday playoff type game, you don't want to see 38-35.
I think the Cowboys always play playoff games from Thanksgiving on. I think that's the way it always should be, and that's the way they always approach it.
Right.
Once Thanksgiving starts, that's when the season. That's the playoffs. Let's just say it. That is the playoffs. The coaches say, "Well, these mean something now." All they're saying is we got to play playoff football starting now. We can't wait till the playoffs.
As McCarthy kept emphasizing, this is December football.
Yeah.
And
that's all he means.
Yeah.
That's all he means. We might as well be in playoff mode right now. And that's every team that has a chance at this point.
And with your goal, the first one is to win the division, right? Mm-hmm. Well, okay, if you beat the Eagles, but that's not over with, right?
Over.
As Bill keeps pointing out, they won their 4 straight. Well, we need to win 5 straight.
Yeah, we do.
Well, you probably need to win about 8 straight
Very true.
to be able to have a chance to win the division. Because if you look at who everybody else has to play, the Cowboys probably have the hardest road.
They have the toughest stretch.
Screw the division. I want the home. I want the
home
first
field.
round.
I want it all.
I'm looking at San Francisco. And you got to finish ahead of them because of what happened in San Francisco earlier.
But eventually, we got to grow up, man. We got to grow up. I mean, I loved it when I was with the Giants. We went on the road and kicked everybody's ass.
Okay, we're almost
that feels good.
Almost out of time.
Okay,
San Francisco has the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Ravens,
and the
Washington,
Rams.
and the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. That's going to be a tough game for them. The Rams.
Eagles, Cowboys, Seahawks,
and Ravens.
Giants, Arizona, Giants.
The Rams game won't matter as far as their division's concerned. They'll have that wrapped up before Christmas.
But you were talking number one
as far as the number 1 seed,
they're not letting up. No, they're not letting up.
So, and officially, Reek Woolen at the Combine.
It's Tyreek, by the way.
No, it's Reek.
That's just short for Tyreek.
On Pro Football Reference, it even has it
I
listed
looked on
as
Wikipedia
Reek.
and saw this.
I mean, he's officially got it changed to Reek.
He did
apparently.
officially?
I mean, look at there. Pro Football Reference, it says Reek Woolen, R-I-Q, Reek.
I thought they were calling him Rick in the press box.
Me too. No, me too. Me too.
Anyway, he ran a 4.26 at the Combine.
At 6'4".
At 6'4", 205 pounds.
That's Richard Sherman type stuff.
Richard Sherman. You want me to find out what he ran?
Yeah.
Okay.
He ran
Hold on a
4.2.
second. Hold on.
Well, who was the guy last night? He was playing for...
He was a 5th-round draft pick. There's no way he ran a 4.2.
Who was he playing? 21.
For?
Not Jacksonville.
The other team?
The other team. Why am I blanking out
Richard Sherman
already?
ran a 4.54.
Is that all?
No. Yeah.
Wow.
But he's 6'3". So that's a similarity there. 6'3" versus 6'4". What did you run?
4.7.
You didn't go to the Combine.
A good day. It was a good day.
Did they have a Combine back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, at Grambling, they just they had the Combine over the white
He's
schools.
my age, so
No, they had the Combine at the white schools, and they were like, okay, guys, I'm going to have a drink and go time these guys at Grambling. That's kind of how it went. They come out there and they just, watch is broken.
But that's where you can tweak it and run them 39 yards instead of 40.
Right, we probably did.
It was the Cincinnati safety. He came up and made a play. Came out of nowhere.
Number 20.
20 or 21? What?
No, number 20. Well, both of them were making plays.
One guy,
number 20
they
came
said
up
he
and
ran like
smashed
a
him in his face.
4.2 something at the Combine. And it showed
Did
because
he say he was
came
a rookie? Did they say he was a rookie?
Yeah.
Well, the rookie was number 20.
Okay, and he came out of nowhere. And he came up and supported and made the play.
He sure did.
And Troy was going on and on.
I thought they were
look
going
how
to call
fast that guy is.
I thought they were going to call like targeting because he hit him pretty hard in the head.
Okay, are we done?
We're done.
All right.
We're way done.
Yep. All right. We get into it more tomorrow when everybody else comes back to work tomorrow.
That's
the
right.
players will be back to work tomorrow. Hope they enjoyed their vacation.
It's Wednesday.
We'll see you again tomorrow here on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!